just Tailwind CSS. So this is exactly what you are going to be creating today with Tailwind CSS. So this simple portfolio web page contains different sections. We have the hero section. Outside the header, we have the hero section. We have the about section. We have the services section. We have the project section where we're going to display the project you have done over time. Then we have the get in touch section where users can reach you. Then we have the footer. So we're going to be creating exactly this with Tailwind CSS today. So let's begin. So to get you started, we're going to be using Tailwind CDM. We're going to be using Tailwind CDM. So you can, this is Tailwind CDM here in my head. Tailwind CDM. And we're going to be making use of icons on the page, just like you look at web page. You have icons at this section. So we're going to be making use of icons. So for the icons part, we are going to make use of font awesome. So in order to get font awesome CDM, you can navigate to cdmjs.com. Then you can just search for font awesome. You can search for font awesome. So this is font awesome CDM. You can simply copy it from here, and then you can use it on the head of your web page, just like I've done here. All right, so we're going to create a folder. I've created a folder and I call the folder landing page. You can call it portfolio page or any page you want to give it is fine. So I have a folder inside of this called images, where I have 3 different images that I'm going to be using for my project section. Then I have the main file, which is the index file I'm going to be working on. So follow me step by step and don't miss any step, so I can get the full details on how you can create or customize your own portfolio page with Tailwind CSS. All right, so create a header, add class utilities to it. Okay, so let's give it a background of white, drop of shadow, box shadow. So let's make it fixed so that the navigation bar aligns at the top of our page, so that no matter how you're scrolling down the page, it remains there, just like you see here. The navigation bar is fixed at the top. So that's what you achieve by the fixed class. All right, so we'll set the width to full, so I can take 100%. Then we'll set the navigation bar top of 0. Then the next thing we're going to create is we're going to create a div that wraps all our navigation links. Then we'll give some class attributes to it. So I have max width of W6 pixel. And we have mix 2. Margin top, margin top, and margin bottom, margin left, and margin right. Flex the items in the navigation bar. Justify between, the space can be between it. Space between items, center the items in the navigation bar. So next we are going to create an anchor tag. We are going to put our name. Could be your brand name or your name. In my case, I'm going to write Newtym. Okay, so I'll add some customization to it. I'll have text to Excel font size, font of bold, text indigo. Let's give the color of indigo, and then depth of 700. That's the depth of the color. Then next we are going to create our nav element, where we'll have all our navigation links inside of it. So let's create our first navigation link. But before that, let's add class here. space dash x dash. So let's put hashtag here so that when you click on the name, the page don't get to reload. All right. So here we are going to have our first navigation link should be about. So put hash about here because we are creating a one-page portfolio site. So when you click on this about on the navigation tab, the navigation bar rather, it scrolls down to the about section other than reloading to a new page. Alright, so now let's now have some class activities there. So for this we are going to say the text grid, the depth to 700, add some hover effects so that when you hover the text color should be different. So let's give it a depth color which, so the font should be medium. So that's our box. So we'll copy this and make duplicate of it. So this is going to be services tab. So this is going to be services here. So we'll add another one. This is going to be portfolio. Okay, so let's look at this here. How about services, portfolio, and contacts? So lastly, we create contacts. This is going to be contacts. Okay. All right. So next, we are going to create our hero section. We are done with the header section. That's our navigation bar. So we're going to be creating hero section next. Hero section. So that's the section we're going to be creating next. So let me add comment here. So it's going to be our header section. So it's good to write comments in your code because they give a clear understanding of what you're doing. All right, so let's view what we have created in our browser. Then we'll come back and continue with the hero section. All right, so we have created our header. We have created our navigation bar, and this is looking fine. This is okay. It's similar to what we have here. All right, so let's go back and create the go back and create a hero section. All right, so let's start with section elements. Okay, so let's give the section, since we are using the one page sites, we'll add some ID to it, and this is going to be home. Yeah, this is going to be some kind of, let's say home. Okay, so let's add class utilities to it. So this is going to be say pt dash as padding top 28. Let me do 28, and padding bottom should be 20. The background, okay. Okay, background, let's see how, okay. For background, let's make it, let's add gradients to this background so that it can looks very, very fine. So the color we are going to use for the gradient is, let's mix indigo. Depth should be 100. Mix it with white. Okay. Alright, so that's fine. So let's wrap the content of our navigation of our hero section rather in a div. Let's add some class to this as well. Going to class of max width of 5xl of mx2 text center, so that text on the hero section will be on the center of the section. So we'll have padding some top and bottom of left and right, rather padding left and right of 6. So add of padding of 6. Then let's add heading inside let's add heading inside the hero section. So on this heading we are going to say, okay, let's see, let's break it to have hi, I am Newtym. Okay, so let's spam this um particular name because it's a special name, it's a brand name or your name. So let's wrap it in span, so we can give it a different customization. So let's add class dt here. Let's give it a text of indigo 700. That's fine. Okay, so let's add class here, text for excel. Okay, we'll give it a font of bold, margin button 4. All right, that's fine. So let's add okay, this is fine, this is fine. So let's add paragraph after the heading. So let's see, I'm a front end, say I'm a front end developer, and UI/UX designer. Okay, that's fine. So next we're going to add another paragraph again. Let's add another paragraph again. So here we are going to say for instance, let's say I build beautiful normal responsive website using modern tools like HTML, CSS, Tailwind, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, so that's what we're going to write there. View section. Okay, so we are going to create after the paragraph we're going to create another div that is going to wrap our button, because if you look at what we have on this other page, you have 2 buttons here. We're going to create that as well. So let's say our div here, let's add some class to align the buttons very well. So let's flex the buttons where they align side by side. So we say flex it column, flex column. So let's justify justify center, then gap of so let's add a little gap between the two buttons before. All right, so the button we use an anchor tag to create a button. So put, okay, this is going to be hash portfolio, so that when you click on the button it takes you to portfolio section. All right, so let's add some class here. I give it a background of indigo, the depth of 700, or let's make it 600. Text on the button should be white. Padding of padding left and right 6. Padding top and bottom should be 3. Okay, rounded so I can have border radius coverage. Okay, so let's see, let's add shadow to it. Add shadow and some hover effects. BG should be go of 700 to the color becomes thicker. Let's add some transition. Let's add transition to it, and then font size of fonts of medium. So the name we are going to attach to this button should be view. Should be view my work. Okay, so copy this very button here and make duplicate of it, and this is going to be contact me. And this should be contacts. Okay, so that when you click on it, it takes you to the contacts section. So with this we are done with the hero section. So the next section we are going to be creating is services section. Services section. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's open our browser and refresh. See what we have here. Oh, these buttons are taking full width, which is not looking okay. So let's go back and rearrange it. Okay, so let's add some classes here to make this looks better, because the paragraph look too close to each other. So let's add some classes to make it look better. So let's say we have let's say add padding of K4. Okay, also add class make it padding of padding 3. See how it looks like. Okay, so this looks a lot better. Okay, it looks a lot better now. It's better. All right, it's fine. So let's move on and create the services section. That's the next section we are going to work on right now. Okay, let's look at what we have here. Or how the about section before the services section. Sorry, so we're going to create the about section before we create the services section. So let's change this to about section. So for the about section, let's write section. So we'll have an ID of about, so that when you click on the about from anywhere without the navigation bar, it takes you to this section. Add a class here. Let's see, padding of 20. top and bottom, and left and right of 6. Okay, so let's wrap our content here in the div, and let's give it as attribute of max width of 4xl mx02 text center, so that align all the items in the middle of the page. So let's create heading here, call it about me. So let's customize this heading. Text 3 Excel, font bold, have text gray, depth of 800, it's fine. The margin bottom of 6 so that there can be space below. So let's add paragraph here. So you could say I am, or for now let me just write some lorem ipsum text, or let me just generate some kind of text here. So you can just write something like this. Yeah. So in your case, you can just write any text describing what you do, that. All right. So this is just going to be all for the about section. The next section we're going to be creating is services section. Services. So let's look at how our about section looks. Okay. So this our about section, and it's looking okay. It's fine. All right. So let's proceed to the services section. So create a new section. So we'll give it an ID as usual. ID of services. Okay, it should be small. Let's add class. Let's design the section. Margin top and bottom of 20. Background of gray with depth of 100. Top margin top and bottom of 6. So now let's wrap our content in a div. Okay, so let's say to style this particular div, we'll have max width of 5 pixel. Now mx02. Okay, sorry, mx02. So let's create heading 2 here. Let's see what I do. Let's style the heading. Okay, let's make it grade call 1 md grade call column of 3, gap of 8. All right, so now it's going to be our heading. So have service, let's name this service 1, comment that the service 1. So we're going to create all the services here. So for the first service, we're going to also wrap this section in the div, where we'll say style a particular div, background of white. padding of it, rounded, the shadow, drop of shadow, over effects, shadow, shadow, Excel, transition. So let's make the text center so that the text in this particular section will be centralized. Okay. Alright, so that's fine. So let's use icon here. We're going to put an icon here. So let's use this for our icon. So the name of the icon we're going to be using here. Let's look at the icon we have here on the other page. So for the first section we'll have this particular icon. So let's write the name of the icon is code. So we're going to have as code. We'll give it a font size of 4XL so that it's going to be bigger than its original shape, with a color of indigo, depth of give it depth of 600, then margin bottom of 4. Okay, that's fine. So let's create our first, let's create an heading here. Okay, this is going to be, this is our first service website. We're going to just write the word development, our web development, paragraph. So we are going to say building. Let's just break this. So say building fast, responsive websites using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, so let's style this paragraph here. Let's give it a text color of gray, the depth of 600. Let's tie the heading as well. So for the heading, we're going to say to be our font size of Excel, font of semi-bold, margin bottom of 3. Okay, I think that's fine. So we're going to copy this particular service we have done here, and we're going to make duplicate of it for the other services. We have 3 other services. So for this second one, let's look how we have web development, UI UX design. So we're going to put UI UX design here, UI/UX design. UI/UX design. So we're going to change this to some other texts like designing intuitive, beautiful interfaces for digital products. Okay, so this is going to be our service 2. service 2 there, and the next one we're going to create now is going to be our service 3. Let's paste that in. So for the service 3 we are going to have okay, I'm going to call this responsive design. Then we're going to change this text to something else. So say creating mobile first experiences that work on any device. So that's going to be our third service. And I think that will be all for the service section. The next section we're going to be looking at the portfolio section. So how section. So let's look at what we have before we proceed. Okay, so this is not looking good. There is some kind of mix up. So let's go back and visit our mother div house in the main div folder. Okay, so this doesn't look good. So this styling is not supposed to be here. Let me cut it away from here. So for the heading 2, we're supposed to have text 3XL, then 3XL, then fonts of bold, then text central, text okay, text bold, text center, then text gray 800, depth of 800, then I have margin bottom of 12. Okay, then we have after the heading we have a div here. After the heading we have a div before. Let's wrap this in a div before section div. So we're going to add a class here, and we're going to paste that exact class we copied to cut up there to this particular section. So let's cut this, close and tag, so that we can wrap all our services inside of it. So we'll have this here, and this is good. So let's review what we have done and see how this section looks now. Alright, this is perfect. Now this is looking very okay now. So now we have hero section, the about section, and the services section. So the next section we are going to be building is the portfolio section. Alright, so before we continue with the portfolio section, let's review the services section. You see on the services section we have one icon all through, which is not okay. Based on the site we are looking at, we see that we have different icons on this particular page. So we're going to do the same thing here. So now what we are going to do here, we're going to change the icon name for services 2 and for service 3. So for service 2, the name of the icon we're going to use here is, let's look at the icon again. This is brush and this is font. Alright, so We are going to change this to paints. That's the icon name. You can check font also on icons for their icon names so that you can know how to use them properly. Then for this we are going to use mobile as the icon name, mobile. So let's go back, refresh, and see how it looks like. Alright, so here we'll have the form, but the brush is not showing. So let's review the name. Okay, instead of paint, sorry, let's use brush. It's not paint but brush. Okay. Okay, and for the mobile, let's add ALT on it for the kind of font icon we are looking at. So let's font as an icon. Okay, so this is okay. This is the brush we got here. It's quite different from this, but we'll use this. This is fine. This is okay. All right. So let's proceed to the next section, which is the portfolio section. So start the portfolio section. So for the portfolio section, okay, let's give it an ID of portfolio, so that when you click, it takes you to this particular section. All right. So here we have. So let's give it a class to start with. So let's say padding top and bottom of 20, padding left and right of 6. Then we have create a div to wrap content. Okay, let's start it. We'll have max width of 5 max 2. Alright, then we are going to create a little here. We'll call it projects. And let's start. Let's see, text 3XL, our fonts bold, and then have text center, help and center text. I have text grid. I'll give it a depth of 800, and then we have margin bottom of 12. That's fine. So let's break this here. Okay. Alright, so this is okay. Alright. So next we're going to create, after the heading, we're going to create another div here. Inside of this div, we're going to, okay, let's style the div first. Let's give the div some class. Should say grid close one. Let's say grid close. So LG grid close 3 and cap of 8. Alright. Then we'll have projects one here. Let's comment that. So this create another div to wrap up project one. And in this div we are going to create class. Let's give it a background of white around there so that I can have coverage for the videos, and the overflow hidden so that the content don't get overflow the container. Give shadow. Let's give some over effects where we have shadow L. Let's add transition Okay, then we are going to add okay, so that, so let's add the image element here. Let's add the image element here. So let's be on the directory of our images. I have three images here: project 1, project 2, and project 3. So I'm going to link them there respectively. So I have images project 1. So I'm going to put the alternate text as project 1. Now add okay. So this is going to be our class to beside the image. So let the image we have carry full width and then carry height of C8. Object cover image going to cover the area, group over, so to scale, so that when you hover over it, image should scale to 1.5 transition 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 with duration of 300. Okay. Okay, so we are going to, after the heading, after the what's it called, all right, so let's shift this a bit inside. So after this we are going to add another div that will wrap our paragraph and our head. So let's create class here. Let's give padding of 6. All right, so let's write h3 here. Yes, we give it class text xl. Our font semi bold MB2, margin bottom 2. So we'll say this is e-commerce, we created an e-commerce project, for instance. All right, then we add a paragraph after the heading. The paragraph, you say fully responsive, online store builds modern CSS and JS. Okay, so now create an anchor tag here for button, and this is going to, let's put a hashtag there so that it doesn't link to anywhere for now. And this is view project. Okay, so let's tie this tag. We have class text of indigo 600 over underline and hover over it, and then text same font of say medium, font medium. Okay, so this is fine. So we are done with our project 1. We're going to copy this entire section we have done here and then make duplicate of it. Copy that section and make duplicate of it. And we're going to change this to project 2. And since it's project 2, it's going to be okay. Let's look at this. So since it's project 2, there's going to be portfolio websites. Okay, so let's just change this to portfolio websites. Then we'll make duplicates of this again, and this is going to be project 3. And we're going to change this time around to tax manager app. So let's add tax manager app, tax manager app. Okay, so we can just change the name here to a fully responsive online. You can just write maybe tax manager app, and then this is fully responsive portfolio website. So portfolio website. Okay. So we're going to change the images. Instead of being same image, this is going to be project 2, and this is going to be project 3, because the images I have in my folder of project 1, 2, and 3, that's the name of the images respectively. So let's, with this, I think we're done with alright, so we're done with the services section, the portfolio section rather. We'll move into the next section, which is contacts section. So before we continue with the contact page, the contact section rather, let's look at what we have on the portfolio section. Alright, so let's refresh the page. Alright, so now this is the project section. Okay, this is looking fine, very okay, this is good. Alright, so let's move on to the contact section. Let's look at the tech contact section right now. So create section as usual, give it an ID of contacts. Okay, change this to contacts, add class names here, margin top and bottom of 20, background gray, red, EX6. Okay, that's fine. So let me wrap the content of this section with divs. So add some class list here of max width of 3XL, 3XL. Now MX text center, and add heading to here. So let's see, get in touch, get in touch. So let's style this heading. Let's see, text 3XL of fonts, bold, of text gray, depth of 800, margin bottom of 6. All right. Then let's add paragraph here. So let's see, have a project in mind. Let's work together. Let's work together to bring your idea to life. Okay, ideas to life. That's fine. So let's style this paragraph. So of text gray 600 MB, margin button of 8. Okay. Alright, so then let's create our form here. Let's open our form element here. So let's remove the action. Now. So let's style. Add some styling, have space, white text left. Okay. Then let's create some input field. So the first input we'll have here is going to be for name. So let's break this here. Okay, so we're going to say this is going to be placeholder, your name, full style, variant area, w, take full width, padding of 3. That's right. Border, let's give it some border color. Let's have border of gray 300, or let's say 200, rounded, close, 2. Color of course should be indigo. Indigo. Then maybe indigo of 50. Indigo of 200. Okay. Okay. So we're going to copy these inputs and duplicate it. The next one we're going to have is for email. So the type is going to be of email. So here will be enter your email. So the next one we'll have is we're going to have alright, so let's duplicate this, or rather let's use text area here so that you can input the message you have to send. So we'll give this see message, then we'll have an ID. You can leave that empty, or we'll just remove the ID. I'm not going to use ID on this. Then the column for this, also remove the column for this, so we can leave the row as 5. can leave the row as 5. Then we can add placeholder here. Say your message. You can see your message. Then add so let's just break this so that it looks more professional. So next we are going to have styling. So let's copy this same styling we did here, so we can use it here as well. Okay, so lastly for this section, we'll now create a button. We'll call the button send message. So let's style button as well. So we're going to use let's copy this similar styling for this button. Then we change some areas for it. Okay, we're going to remove the border for this. Shouldn't be no border. Alright. Background of indigo, and then the background should be 600. That's fine. Text of white should be rounded as well, and this. Alright, so this is fine. So we'll remove the focus from here because this is not an input area. So we're going to write with some hover effects. We'll have g dash equal of, let's put it 100 or 700 rather. Okay, so this will be all for this section. So the next section we are going to be creating is the footer. So for the footer section, we simply write so let's look at previous section we have just done before we proceed to the footer. Okay, this is fine. Okay, this is okay. All right, so the last section we are creating is the footer. So let's style our footer here. Background of gray 900. Text white. P margin top and bottom 10. Left and right of padding. Left and right of 6. So let's wrap all of this div. Okay, let's do some styling to the div. Next 5. So next now text center. Add paragraph here. So let's put the copyright here. 2025 Newtym. Alright, reserved. Now we'll create our navigation. We'll create some links for our social icons. So let's wrap them in a div as well. So let's style this section. Margin top 4 to flex the items so that they are aligned in horizontal form. Justify contents, center, space. So now let's add our social icons, our social links alongside their icons. So put this hash since we are not putting an actual link there. We'll now put an icon in between them. So let's use this for the icon class. So let's look at the websites where we have this is LinkedIn, okay, and the rest, okay. LinkedIn, GitHub, Twitter, and websites there. Alright, so let's so the icon for LinkedIn, that's for LinkedIn, that's the icon name for LinkedIn. Let's use, okay, let's leave this also. Alright, so let's tie this so it can look very fine at the end of the day. When you hover over it, there should be some effects. This is text. And go 400. Okay, so let's copy this and make duplicate of it for the rest of the icons. So for this, the second one is GitHub. So we're going to use GitHub on this. Alright, so there was supposed to be a hyphen here before the name LinkedIn. So I'll do that here too. I'll have GitHub. And then I'll do it for the next one. So the next one was Twitter. That's X. So I'll just save up for this is X. So the next one was okay, triple triple. Always use Instagram. Okay, so basically this is our footer section. Let's see how it looks like, if it's okay before we proceed. Okay, so this is our footer section. Let's compare what we have here. Okay, so this is fine. The icons here are looking bigger than this, so let's add a class that will make the icon looks bigger too. So let's add f large. Yeah, let's do same here. Let's do same here. Okay, so this looks a bit better now. So with this we have created our portfolio website and this is looking fine. So let's try navigating on them and see. When you click on about, it takes you to about, click on services. Okay, it's not navigating to services. Let's click on portfolio, move to portfolio, and move to contact. So let's look at services and why it's not navigating to services when we click on service section. So let's first go to our navigation links. So this is services, service here. So let's look at the section for service. So on this section we'll have services and we'll do a service. So we're going to change the operand to services, portfolio services. So this is going to be services here. So Let's go back and refresh the page. So now when we click on services, it takes us to the services section, and this is looking fine. So for this button here, these are both looking same, they have the same color, but here we have this button looking this way and this looking this way. So let's change the section to appear this way as well. So let's go back to our code. So let's review the hero section. Okay, so in this section we're going to change, we're going to remove the background color. We're going to remove the background color here. We're going to add border. So we'll have let's give a border of instead of gray, let's make it in blue of 700. Okay, then we'll add hover effect. Okay, we'll have hover here already, so let's change this hover to 8 to gray of 100. So let's refresh this page. Okay, so the text color is showing white and it's not coming out. Okay, so let's go back and change the text from white to go of 700. So let's refresh the page now. Okay, so and it is okay, this is fine. Contact me, takes you to contact me. View my work, takes you to my work. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you followed the video from the beginning to the end.